It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. It is better to be alone than in bad company. If freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. My mother was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. All I am I owe to my mother. I attribute my success in life to the moral, intellectual and physical education I received from her. Human happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. 99% of failures come from people who make excuses. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. Guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience. Perseverance and spirit have done wonders in all ages. A sensible woman can never be happy with a fool. Few men have virtue to withstand the highest bidder. Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind, than on the externals in the world. Experience teaches us that it is much easier to prevent an enemy from posting themselves than it is to dislodge them after they have got possession. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. To encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. I conceive a knowledge of books as the basis upon which other knowledge is to be built. Where are our men of abilities? Why do they not come forth to save their country? Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. We must consult our means rather than our wishes. Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those be well tried before you give them your confidence. To persevere in one's duty, and be silent is the best answer to calumny. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all. Let your heart feel for the afflictions and distress of everyone. We should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors, and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience. There is nothing so likely to produce peace as to be well prepared to meet the enemy. Be not glad at the misfortune of another, though he may be your enemy. No punishment, in my opinion, is too great for the man who can build his greatness upon his country's ruin. I hold the maxim no less applicable to public than to private affairs, that honesty is always the best policy. It is absolutely necessary for me to have persons that can think for me, as well as execute orders. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. A bad war is fought with a good mind. Decision-making, like coffee, needs a cooling process. I'll die on my feet before I'll live on my knees. Individuals entering into society must give up a share of liberty to preserve the rest. A slender acquaintance with the world must convince every man that actions, not words, are the true criterion of the attachment of friends. The basis of our political systems is the right of the people to make and to alter their constitutions of government. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. Wherein you reprove another, be unblamable yourself, for example, is more prevalent than precepts. Liberty, when it begins to take root, is a plant of rapid growth. Never attach where it is obvious. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. If the cause is advanced, indifferent is it to me where or in what quarter it happens. Harmony, liberal intercourse with all nations, are recommended by policy, humanity, and interest. A man ought not to value himself of his achievements or rare qualities of wit, much less of his riches, virtue or kindred. The great mass of our citizens require only to understand matters rightly, to form right decisions. I had rather be on my farm than be emperor of the world. Much was to be done by prudence, much by conciliation, much by firmness. Reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail in exclusion of religious principles. Government is not reason, it is not eloquence. It is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Those who have committed no faults want no pardon. We are only defending what we deem our indisputable rights. System to all things is the soul of business. To execute properly and act maturely is the way to conduct it to your advantage. Show not yourself glad at the misfortune of another though he were your enemy. Be not hasty to believe flying reports to the disparagement of any. Heard the bullets whistle, and, believe me, there is something charming in the sound. We have probably had too good an opinion of human nature in forming our confederation. My first wish is to see this plague of mankind, war, banished from the earth. A knowledge of books is the basis upon which other knowledge is to be built. Make sure you are doing what God wants you to do, then do it with all your strength. To the distinguished character of patriot, it should be our highest glory to add the more distinguished character of Christian.